Hi, I'm Captain Coppin with Texas Fishing Tips, and this is your weekly fishing report.
This week we've had the tides come up a little bit, had some weather changes. Don't let that bother you too much. The only time it gets real tough is about a day or two after the front. Now we're post-front conditions. We got our southeast breeze back, and I've been targeting these drains along the ICW on both sides, on the Nighthawk side and the ICW side, catching good redfish, fishing the dirtier water, looking for the places that are marked up. That's where I'm catching most of my fish. And Nighthawk, usually when that water gets real clear, it gets tough. But when you can find dirty water around these islands, that's where the redfish are holding. Over here on the back sides, make sure your baits are hitting in the sand if you're throwing the cut bait, either cut mullet or cut skipjack or menhaden. Those are all good baits to throw in here. Drifting with popping corks and live shrimp through the dirty water. And on the ICW side, we've been catching some good reds with mixed trout and occasional flounder right on the drop-off and hitting those sand pockets along the ICW. Over here on the King Ranch shoreline, we've been catching some good reds just over here on the outside of Hog Slough. We've been getting some reds and some flounder in the sand, throwing the cut bait. Believe it or not, catching those flounder on cut bait. Caught a few real big flounder, 19, 20-inch flounder in here. Use smaller boats and kayaks. Y'all can get back up in here. I can't get in there with my boat, but believe me, there's fish all in here. That's the entrance right here. Probably the easiest way to get in is over here just south of the point. But you come back in here, nobody hardly ever goes in here, so it's a good untapped resource. And then right here at the bridge, you can get out or just come back the way you came in. What I like to do when I'm back in here is throw just a single bait like a gold spoon or just a gulp on a real light jig head and sight fish. Come in here with your kayak, put the anchor out, or just kind of just drift real slow through here. You can also throw live shrimp. There's not a lot of places to drift in here, but it does work. And then you can also come in here and throw cut bait on the real windy days, and even when it's blowing 30 miles an hour, this is a good protected place to fish and catch lots of good redfish. Alright, back here in Lake Padre, we've been catching some good fish. Coming back here, fishing this shoreline right here by the restaurant on the far west shore. Coming in here and throwing shrimp, free line along the edges. Croaker if you can get them. It's getting a little late season right now. Believe it or not, the croaker I've been using have been pretty small, which is okay. They make good little bite-sized baits. But we're catching just a mixed bag of drum, trout, and reds with an occasional flounder in here. And then as you come out of Lake Padre, hang a right, coming down the channel, catching lots of reds on live finger mullet right before sunset. They've been hitting real strong. Everybody's hooking up limits, both the north and south side. It's kind of like one of those things. You sit out on the jetties all day long, but then they come through. Well, they're coming through right before sunset. So right as that sun's about to go down, and the hour and a half before, that's when everything's just kind of moving through here. So throw those live finger mullet, chunks of skipjack, catch some bull reds and some good slot reds also. Over here on the south shore of Baffin, we've been catching some good redfish. When that tide came up, I'm drifting this flat between marker 9 and Los Corrales. Up shallow, catching good redfish, popping corks and live shrimp. You're able to actually get in here and see those fish when the water's not too churned up. But like I said earlier, there's some of that milky, muddy water. That's where these fish are holding. And if you come out here to the drop-off, we've been throwing a few croaker, catching some trout, some thick ones. It's about that time of year where the trout are going to start putting on some weight. and starting to get thick and heavy, that's what we're going to want to target. These bigger trout. Each passing cold front, they're going to start stacking up in here right on that edge as these mullet come through. Lots of bait, lots of reds. Come in here and have some fun. Over here on the back side of Starvation, we've been catching some good fish, trout and reds both. Just fishing in here, throwing a lot of lures really. Also throwing some shrimp, but just kind of working these cleaner areas. You know, you can see on the map how the mud doesn't really come in here as much, but you know, if you drift with that southeast wind right along the drop off on the backside of Starvation, you're going to catch some good mixed boxes of trout and reds. And also there's been some drum out around the point, so you can throw shrimp on the point. And come down this shoreline here, there's been a lot of guys wade fishing here, so just be careful when you're running down this shoreline. There's some rock piles you got to watch out for, and watch out for everybody standing on the shoreline as they're wade fishing. Get up in about 1.5 2 foot of water. That's where all the fish are, tight to the shore, especially with the tides coming up. You know, as you head closer to East Clayburg Point, we've been catching good fish there also. On the deeper rocks, coming out around where it goes from 8 foot to about 2 foot, 1 foot, all along here, coming back in. Saw a lot of big fish in here the other day, and when I say big, there's some big bull reds, and I think we caught about half a dozen trout that were in the 20 to 24 inch range.
I'm Captain Grant Coppin. Thanks for watching.